On my main channel today, I talked about Hillary Clinton's potential run in 2020. And it was jokey and a bit silly. Everyone thinks she might run. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But the point I made at the end of the video was that perhaps the reason Hillary Clinton is doing a press tour and going on the offensive is because Trump has gone on the offensive. Or perhaps Hillary Clinton's actually defensive. It's all defensive play. See, here's the thing. GOP senators say Hillary, DNC colluded with Ukraine to undermine Trump campaign, press DOJ to probe. This was reported by Politico in 2017 that the Ukrainians were helping the DNC. Why the story for the past several years was Trump and Russia? Your guess is as good as mine. But Trump is on the offensive. That call with Ukraine, why are they coming after him so hard? Well, it really seems like Trump is targeting the 2016 Russia investigation. Now there's a story coming out where they claimed that Trump tried doing the same thing with Australia to pressure them into smearing Biden. But it's not true. It turns out Australia reached out to Trump. It's also really interesting how in the Ukraine call, it was Ukraine who stated to Trump that they were, going to be working with Giuliani. They brought it up, not Trump. Here's what I think I see happening. Trump is investigating 2016, a counterstrike. You had the Mueller probe, and now Trump is saying, okay, if this wasn't true, where did this come from? Where did these conspiracy theories arise? And so Trump reaches out to these countries that were involved, Australia and Ukraine, and asks, hey, well, I shouldn't say, no, I'm sorry, take that back. He didn't reach out, okay? He just asked them in conversation. Either Australia reached out to him, or with Ukraine, he had a phone call and he mentioned it. Seems like the Democrats are quite concerned, and the GOP is calling it out. It is not Russian propaganda. It was reported by Politico, Ken Vogel, who now works for the New York Times. It's about time this story got more coverage. Let's read. The Daily Wire reports 2 top Republican senators have asked the Justice Department to investigate allegations that Democrats sought dirt on Donald Trump from Ukrainian officials during the 2016 election. In a letter to Attorney General William Barr released Monday, Senators Ron Johnson of Wisconsin and Chuck Grassley of Iowa push the Justice Department to open a probe, saying they have concerns about foreign assistance in the 2016 election that have not been thoroughly addressed. Ukrainian efforts abetted by a U.S. political party to interfere in the 2016 election should not be ignored. Such allegations of corruption deserve due scrutiny. And the American people have a right to know when foreign forces attempt to undermine our democratic process, the senators wrote in a letter. Now, here's my question. First, respect to Politico, Ken Vogel, and the New York Times for hiring him in the first place. Though I'm critical of the Times, I can respect this. The New York Times also reported in the Ukraine scandal, where Schiff and other Democrats are trying to claim that Trump's quid pro quo was withholding Ukrainian aid. The truth is, according to Ken Vogel, Ukraine had no idea Trump had postponed aid to Ukraine at all until a month after the phone call. So where was the quid pro quo? If they didn't know, they couldn't act in any capacity to benefit Trump, but they didn't know he was trying to put pressure on him in the first place. Same reporter. So if this is true, why did MSNBC call it Russian propaganda? And where is the big press outrage over the scandal from Hillary Clinton? Why is Hillary Clinton getting this glorious press tour with positive coverage? Why aren't they calling her out? I wonder. For years, we had to endure these congressional hearings, the nonsense, the Mueller probe, the investigations, and it was a strain in this country. It was divisive, and we are sick of it. And guess what? When I say we, I'm not talking about Trump supporters. I think there's a lot of things to criticize the president for, but this is not one of them. This was a smear job. Russia was fake news. Where's the press? That's what bothers me. Let me make this point. To anybody who wonders where my allegiances lie. First, it's not the Republicans. I do not like them. Mitch McConnell, I do not like him. Trump, I do not like him either. I don't like the Democrats either. I don't like any of them. But you know what I really, really hate? The media, the lies, duplicitous behavior. It is manipulative, and they refuse to hold their own accountable. You may realize that the thread in most of my content is targeting the press, not politics for the most part. My concerns with the Democratic Party is that the media runs defense for them. And when I say the media, I'm not saying literally everyone all of the time. I'm saying too often the corruption persists. And while we see good work from the New York Times, more so than many outlets, we can also see their corruption as well. And something needs to be done about it. And it just so happens, wow, it's so convenient that all of these stories about Hillary Clinton are positive and all of these stories about Donald Trump are negative. So no, I don't care for Trump or his policies or the Republicans. I don't care for Mitch McConnell holding up legislation or blocking Merrick Garland. I don't care for that and I don't like them, but here's the issue. Call it out, fine. But why won't the press talk about this? You want to talk about Trump and Russia? Go for it. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to listen. But what happens? What happens when we talk about the DNC and Hillary Clinton and Ukraine, which is being reported far and wide, was in Politico, a New York Times reporter, Katie Turn, MSNBC, that's Russian propaganda. Get over yourselves. Okay? We have a sworn statement from a former Russian prosecutor, numerous sworn statements, and they call that a conspiracy theory. I'm not saying trust the guys. I don't trust Ukrainian prosecutors. I think they're all corrupt. But I'll tell you what, a sworn statement under penalty of perjury, or however Ukraine works, is substantially more credible than secondhand complaints going to the ICIG. You want to investigate secondhand complaints? I also say go for it. But how dare the media come out now and say sworn statements are conspiracy theories? How about this? Hillary Clinton and Ukraine. How about the story from Politico? I can't stand the press, man. The games they play. Is there conservative media? Sure. Do they get things wrong? Absolutely. But what happens when MSNBC gets it wrong? Do we see any of these stories come out like the Daily Beast? Are they going to now write about how Katie Tur pushed a conspiracy theory believing the Russians are spreading propaganda? What about the CNN analyst who claimed that Trump was spreading Russian propaganda just the other day? Nope. Oliver Darcy and Brian Stelter will continue to push the narrative that it's only Trump supporters questioning what they say. Sorry. Listen, you can't call Politico and the New York Times crazy conspiracy theorists. Oh, but they've tried. See, now there's another guy, John Solomon, the guy who released these sworn affidavits. Now we have the Daily Beast and Washington Post calling him a conspiracy theorist. It's absurd to me. This is a guy who is he's the executive editor of The Hill TV. The Hill is a mainstream credible outlet. He was an investigative reporter for the Washington Post. And as soon as he steps out of that bubble and shows us proof of wrongdoing from the Democrats, what do? He's a conspiracy nut, they say. This is my problem, okay? Ukrainian efforts abetted by a U.S. political party. They say the Justice Department has yet to inform Congress and the public whether it has begun an investigation into links and coordination between the Ukrainian government and individuals associated with the campaign of Hillary Clinton or the Democratic National Committee. Ukrainian efforts abetted by a U.S. political party to interfere in the 2016 election should not be ignored. They should not. If you're going to make me sit through 3 years of this Russiagate crap, well, then I demand we get another 3 years of sitting through the DNC and Ukraine. No, instead, it's Trump's fault. It's a Trump scandal. I am so sick of the media's inability to actually talk sense. Let me just say, I do not mean literally everyone in the media. Okay, I'm talking about those who seek to defend Hillary Clinton and poo-poo these stories. It was Politico that said this was a fact. It was The Hill. Okay, we've got some great media calling it out. Well, it needs to be called out. They go on to say, at the center of this, the senators claim Alexandra Chalupa, a Democratic consultant, worked with Ukrainian officials to find dirt on Trump in 2016. At the center of this plan was Alexandra Chalupa, described by reports as a Ukrainian-American operative, who was consulting for Democratic National Committee, and who reportedly met with Ukrainian officials during the presidential election for the express purpose of exposing alleged ties between then-candidate Donald Trump, Manafort, and Russia. Politico also reported on a Financial Times story that quoted a Ukrainian legislator, Serhiy Lyshenko, as saying that Trump's candidacy caused Kiev's wider political leadership to do something they would never have attempted before, intervene, however indirectly, in the U.S. election. Okay. I don't care if you're a Republican. I don't care if you're a Democrat. If the Democrats want to say something's fishy with Trump, all right, show me the evidence. If the Republicans want to say there's something fishy with the Democrats and Hillary Clinton, okay, show me the evidence. Well, we did. And we sat down for years and we listened to everything that Rachel Maddow had to say about her insane Russia conspiracies, and it all turned out to be bunk. Okay, I say all, but for the most part. You know, some people were indicted. There was Russian attempts at interference, but it wasn't this big scandal. And Trump certainly had nothing to do with it. Are we going to get reciprocity? Are we now going, is it our turn now? Is it, for those of us that sat through Russia and were misled by the press, is it now the turn of Republicans to come back? Let me stress again, because I'll take that out of context. When I say our turn, I'm talking about the American people who want to now ask the questions about what started Russia, what started the probe. If you waste my time and tell me these things, it is now my turn to come back and say, okay, it was all fake. Let's investigate the origins. Well, Trump is trying to do that, and I think he should. And it's not about whether I like him or his policies, because that argument has been thrown out the window by the Democrats. All they care about is scandals. Well, I don't. I thought the elections were supposed to be about what we were going to do for the American people. Okay, you want to make this about scandals? We'll make it about scandals. And I'll let you know I'm not on your side. Okay? I am not. I'm on the side of the facts. And the facts are Russiagate fizzled apart. And the facts are, according to several outlets, that DNC colluded with Ukraine. Okay. Do I want to say that's a fact? Well, hold on. How about we have Ukrainegate and see a special counsel appointed to investigate this and go after Hillary Clinton and the DNC? That's my turn. The facts. The people of this country who want to know what is happening and why. I get so frustrated. I just can't stand the media, okay? And it's most of them, not all of them. We know about this because of Politico. Good job. And the New York Times. Good job. But I want to see even-handed press. And I want to see an inquiry. Stick around. A couple more videos coming up in a few minutes. I will see you all shortly.